Today we're going to be looking at the differences between solving an equation and evaluating an expression. When we evaluate an expression, we are given a number to replace with the variable. We're evaluating it because we want to find out how much it is equal to. When we solve an equation, we're going to identify the value for the variable. So a key difference here is we evaluate when we know how much the letter stands for. So here f equals 3. And we solve when we're trying to figure out what that variable is equal to. Okay, we approach these slightly different, using our knowledge of some of those basic vocabulary words to support us. To start, I'm going to evaluate this expression. If we're evaluating, it might help in this one to rewrite this showing that the 8 is multiplying the variable f. Because 8 is a coefficient, we know it's causing multiplication. So to evaluate it, where I see an f, I'm going to replace with a 3. So underneath f, I will put 3. And nothing else about this is changing. Okay, so if I then solve this, what is 8 times 3? This expression would equal 24 if f equals 3. When we evaluate, we can be told that the variable equals any amount. So I could also then add, what if f equaled 6? What would that be? Again, I would take the original equation, 8f. I'd replace f this time with 6. 8 times 6 is 48. So depending on what we are told the variable is equal to, our answer when we evaluate can be different numbers. On the other side, I'm going to solve for b. When we're solving for what that variable equals, we want to isolate the variable, meaning getting it by itself. Because I'm not told what b equals, I need to use my inverse operation to figure it out. Inverse means opposite. So to isolate and get b by itself, I would subtract 36. Adding and subtracting are opposite operations. So by doing that on this side, they cancel each other out nicely, leaving b all by itself. If I subtract on the left side of the equal sign, I'm also going to subtract on the right side. So I will subtract 36 from 182. This tells me that b is equal to 146 in order to make this equation true. I would suggest as we continue practicing this that you check your answer. So if I want to check this answer and make sure b is actually 146, I would take the original problem and I'm going to then, instead of writing b, write 146 and see if that is true. When I add these together, I do get 182. So this provides a way for me to check my work. I want to highlight the difference between the answers when you're evaluating versus when you're solving. If I'm evaluating an expression, I'm determining how much it equals. Whereas if I'm solving, I'm telling you how much just the variable equals. So your approach and what steps to take will be slightly different depending, again, on this direction. Are you evaluating it or are you solving? So when I'm trying to decide which steps to take, I'm going to look for what the directions are telling me. Okay. In this problem, I'm evaluating, so let's figure out what it equals. I'll write this a little bit bigger, 9w minus 14. Okay, so I'm telling you what w equals here. And when I do that, I replace the 8 underneath the w. Nothing else about this problem changes if I'm evaluating it. So this still is going to be minus 14. Remember, 9 is multiplying that 8 because 9 is a coefficient. So multiply those together. 9 times 8 is 72. Then we would subtract. Okay, so this expression is equal 58 if w equals 8. Finally, let's solve the next one. Okay, so this is an equation, and if I want to solve it, I want to figure out what number for n will make this true. Again, when I solve and I see the 6 next to the n, I like to rewrite this as 6 multiplied by n to remember what the operation is. Okay, and again, when we're solving, that's when we use our opposite operation. Okay, so I want to get rid of this times 6 so I can solve and tell you n equals what. Okay, and so anytime we're isolating that variable to figure out what it equals, choose the opposite. Okay, remembering that multiplication and division are opposites, they'll cancel each other out, leaving n alone. And keeping our equation balanced, let's divide on both sides. Six goes into 1 no times. 6 goes into 10 once. Bring down the 2. And 6 goes into 42 7 times. Okay, so the value is n equals 17. Okay, let's scroll back up. Okay, remembering again, the key difference I'm looking for you to establish today is how do you operate with an expression versus how do you operate with an equation. Okay, expressions mean you're going to plug something in and be able to give me an answer. Solving means that we're going to use the opposite operation to get the variable by itself.